This episode is brought to you by Scale Production and thescalemodeler.com. All the painting in this video will be done with a Eurotech 20A air compressor set at 3.4 bars or 35 psi and a harder and Steinbeck 2-in-1 Evolution airbrush with a 0.4mm needle. Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Golf. This time I am going to finish off painting the body, and the last thing I needed to do before some final details and assembly was painting all the black parts around the body. There was a big one on the trunk and some around the wheel wells, sort of over fenders that were black plastic on the real car. So I masked off the entire body, and then I started painting 3 light coats without any time in between on top of each other, just to cover those in some flat black and make it look good. Moving on to the second coat. Now the reason I am not having to wait in between coats is that the coats I apply are so light they are practically already dry when I sprayed them on and moved on to the next fender. So I can just keep going around and around and around until I'm satisfied, and that in the end took me 3 times. First coat is really light, second coat is just as light but it covers over the black better, and the third coat is just a final check to see if everything is totally blacked out. And now it's time for the final coat. As I mentioned earlier, this is just to check if everything is covered and to even out all the black and make it look one even surface. After checking the body for one more time, I discovered that the rear trunk lid was not really covered completely, so just one final pass and that has done the business. So now everything is all covered. It was time to start unmasking. I let it sit for about 15 minutes because, as I mentioned earlier, the paint is practically dry when applied and when I moved on to the next one. So no long time in between to wait for it to dry. all the masking is now off, and I wanted to share a little trick with you guys. Some of the edges were a bit rough, so what I do is I take out a toothpick and run it along the edge. It sort of polishes it, and it removes most of the rough paint around the edge until the edge, so it leaves a pretty sharp edge and a great finish overall. Now you do have to be careful with this. I used 2K clear, that is very hard, so it doesn't really scratch that easy, but with the normal Tamiya or Mr. Hobby or something like that, it would scratch a lot easier, so I would recommend to be careful if you want to use this and be aware of what kind of clear you used. Now just to sum it up, so far we have put on 2 coats of primer, 5 coats of pearl white, and 3 coats of 2K clear. And in this video we finished everything off with 3 coats of flat black on the trim bits. Now everything was painted with a Eurotech 20A compressor set at 3.4 bar or 35 psi, and the paint was shot through my Harder and Steenbeck 2-in-1 Evolution airbrush with a 0.4mm needle. In the meantime, make sure to check out Scale Production. They have an awesome website with loads of cool products. And also check out the Scale Modeler. We are retailers for Zero Paint, Scale Production, and C1 models. Of course, check us out on Facebook, and if you have any questions or suggestions, shoot us an email or post a comment. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next time.